Thank you very much, John. First, it's great to be home, and it's great to be in this wonderful museum that has meant so much to Middle Georgia, to our young people, and I think to the United States Air Force. So, John, I appreciate the invitation, and I appreciate all you've done to make this day possible. I would say also to Dan Rhodes and the terrific museum staff, thank you for hosting this, I think, very important security and economic forum. Up front, I want to thank the Bank of America, and I know we have several representatives of the Bank of America here, but since I left the Senate in 1997, the Bank of America has generously sponsored almost every year. We may have skipped one year, forums for, what would it be, 28 years now. It's hard to believe. And we've had every type subject you could imagine, from non-proliferation of nuclear weapons to preparedness for nuclear terrorism to values and ethics. We've had Emory and Georgia Tech, of course, and the University of Georgia all participated the first 7 years. And this partnership now brings us to, I think, the most important juncture in terms of value added, in terms of dialogue, in terms of discussion, in terms of research between the academic community at Georgia Tech and the Air Force Base here, as well as the 21st Century Partnership. That's an awful lot of talent. It's not only the international school. Adam Stolberg is the director of that school. They made a wild gamble and named it after me many years ago. The difficulty of having a school named after you is that it means that you have to be on your good behavior for the rest of your life. And so I am both enjoying and suffering under that dubious challenge, but it's a great, great honor to be here and to watch the partnership between the 21st Century Partnership and Georgia Tech, the International School, but also across the whole campus, because Adam and the School of International Affairs is kind of the point guard in terms of bringing other parts of Georgia Tech together for this kind of research, and this kind of dialogue is so important. So the Bank of America, we tip our hat again to all of you here from Bank of America. I would like for you, and I think we've got several here, I don't have the names unfortunately, but I'd like for you to stand and let's give them a real round of applause. They've been very, very generous. So thank you. We appreciate it. And General, I must say, General Breedlove and John Kabinick and others have made this whole thing possible. General Breedlove had the vision to, when he first became associated with the Nunn School at Georgia Tech, for which we're very grateful after he retired, he had the vision to know how powerful a combination it could be between Georgia Tech and this wonderful institution, Robins Air Force Base, and the United States Air Force. So thank you very much, General Breedlove, and you'll be one of our speakers today. And General Dale White, we're delighted to have General White here. He has a small job. He just handles all the acquisition for the United States Air Force. How's that for responsibility, including, I'm told, the Air Force One program, which is chugging along. Greg King, we appreciate you being here very much, and one of our SARs at Georgia Tech, and we appreciate all the members of the staff here at the museum and the people who made this forum possible. I'm going to make just a few brief points and then go take my seat, get out my pad and pencil, listen and learn from this panel, this, I think, very unique panel of experts and leaders as we talk about one of the most important challenges for America, and that is how we handle our innovative technology, including but not limited to AI. So let me make just a few points. Point one, we live in a world, as you all well know, of both promise and considerable peril. America, from my perspective, must lead in the innovative technology, both for our security and for our prosperity, and for, as Tanya reminds us very frequently, and the subject of one of our forums, and for our resilience in a very turbulent world in terms of not only pressures around the world from terrorism, but great power competition, as well as serious climate and environmental challenges, which are long-term problems, but we already see some of those signs of how important that subject is. So that's sort of the starting point for what we're talking about today. The innovative technologies have to lead to our economic prosperity and also our nation's security. Point two, America and the world have huge opportunities and considerable risk. There's tremendous upside to the technology we see coming today so rapidly. There's also a dark side. There always has been. That's not new in history, but this one may be the most challenging, and we have to work both sides of that equation in terms of both the risk as well as the fantastic opportunities. Point three, Georgia Tech and International School, as well as I mentioned, the broad science and technology leadership that comes from Georgia Tech and the talent that comes from there, partnering with the United States Air Force, Robins Air Force Base, 21st Century Partnership. That is a powerful combination. And I think it is already underway, that partnership, this third forum, as has been mentioned, but it also has tremendous potential for our region here in Middle Georgia and for our state and indeed for our nation. So I'm very grateful to those who have made this happen and are continuing to make sure it fulfills its tremendous potential. My fourth point, artificial intelligence and other dynamic innovative technologies, and there's considerable breakthroughs on the biological side, combining bio with computer power and quantum computing coming along is just almost unbelievable what the potential is for mankind, not just for our country, but for mankind. And we're going to talk today about some of that. We're also going to focus on what the new technologies potentially can do in the logistics area, which is so much the key mission here at Robins Air Force Base, and for preparedness and for deterrence and for peace through strength and for military operations and combat when required as a last resort, as we all hope and pray we will avoid. But being prepared, as we all know, is a huge part of preventing war, and that is a lesson we must learn and have learned from history. Point number five, a very brief, silly joke, but it has a point. It sort of has a reverse point, and that is, it is said now that the factory of the future will be occupied by only two living creatures, a man and a dog. Two creatures in that factory of the future. The dog has only one job, and that is to prevent the man from touching anything. And the man's man has only one job, and that is to feed the dog. Now, of course, that is a little silly, but it tells us a little bit about the challenge in terms of machines and human beings and what the role of human beings is going to be in the future as we have artificial intelligence and machine learning and robotics. Are the machines going to take over? I think not. In my age group, probably, I would say from 80 up, I think we'll probably obey the dog and not touch anything. But you younger people and those on the cutting edge of technology in the science and technology community, you're going to have to be very involved. Ash Carter, former Secretary of Defense, now deceased, unfortunately, was a leader in innovation and technology. And he said over and over and over again, and I've heard him give a whole lecture on this one subject, that we have to keep man in the loop. We cannot turn technology over to the machines alone. Of course, that is a huge challenge because the cyber world moves at very, very rapid speeds. So how do we keep man in the loop? That's going to be the challenge, I think, for the younger generation. And when I say man, I include, obviously, women in that loop. Because they're playing we talked about that last night with General White, and Phil Breedlove, and it's hard to describe the role women are playing now, the important role they're playing in the military, in the technology world, in the science world, in the world. When I was in law school, there was one female in our class. Now, I think 60% in Emory Law School are women. The role women is playing is just fantastic. And frankly, in just a pure selfish sense, from a national point of view, it gives us huge competitive advantage to countries that do not fully utilize the talents, the brains, and the, let's say it, they have a little more charm than men too as we go along. So anyway, the bottom line is you're going to have to be in the loop. Humanity is going to have to be in the loop. If we're going to enjoy the huge benefits of the innovative technology and avoid the dark side risk, at least mitigate those, which leads to my final point. Humans must give shape and purpose to our technologies and breathe heart, breathe soul, breathe values, and breathe wisdom into our science and technology. So this is the challenge for the younger generation. I look forward to listening and learning this morning from all of you. Thanks to all who made it possible. Appreciate it.